About greyhound racing. Now, I don't know what your views on this are, whether you are someone like Clive Ellis, who a few minutes ago passionately spoke against the whole idea of greyhound racing. He says it's hard on the dogs, they do suffer, many of them are euthanased, as he put it, after injuries that he says are caused because they race round in circles, anti-clockwise, round the track, round and round, and he says because of that they are getting injured. And he thinks that in Britain we should adopt a system that they do in Odense in Denmark, which is just racing them down a straight track, although ideally he'd like to see the whole thing scrapped. Any thoughts? You can text 81333 and start your message with the word not. Well, Clive is from Greyhound Watch, which is very well known for opposing greyhound racing. So what about an independent view? Graham Oliver is a vet at East Midlands Referrals, which is a surgery in Hocknell. Hello, Graham.
Good morning, Francis.
Thanks for your time this morning. You heard what Clive had to say. How much of that do you think is fair enough? That, yeah, they're being injured, they're falling, they're getting fractures to their legs, and they're being put down as a result.
Well, Clive is obviously passionate about the topic, and, you know, it is a matter of fact that in racing, dogs do get injured, and the fact we race around oval circuits means that as they all come together in the first bend, there are a number of collisions, and that can result in injury. A lot of these injuries may be minor, they may be bruising, but some of them can be more major and involve fractures, particularly the hock fractures. And the majority of dogs that suffer a significant fracture do get euthanased, which is a shame. My involvement tends to be in the smaller proportion of these dogs whose owners are perhaps more concerned about the animal's welfare post-racing, or maybe have more secure financial means that will actually come on to have the animals repaired.
Yes, because if you have a greyhound as a pet, then obviously you want to do your best for that dog, you love that dog, but often an owner of a racing greyhound will have it as a business, and so if it's not cost efficient to repair that dog, then it's goodbye, isn't it?
I'm afraid that's the case, and we deal with pets with orthopaedic injury in the majority of cases, but I see a lot of racing greyhounds, many of whom can be returned to perfectly healthy and happy lives, but a proportion of which are not suitable for racing, and that's probably the larger proportion. So these dogs are bred to race, and once they're no longer suitable for that, then if they're lucky they'll be retired and treated out of their retirement. If they're unlucky they'll be euthanased. It's quite a hard world as far as the...
It's quite hard-nosed, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. But then others would argue that cattle and sheep, all the time, if they're not going to be bred or used as dairy stock, the same thing can happen, and dogs are animals too. I just put that point of view across, not saying it's my view. But just to finish with the dogs that you see, Graham, that have injuries, can you just be more specific about whether or not running round a circular track is causing injuries that could be avoided without, yeah, exactly, because, you know, dogs run, don't they? Dogs fall, dogs frolic with each other, they do get injured, and with an animal that's got very lanky limbs like a greyhound, they will get fractures, won't they?
Yes, I mean, they're very finely built like a thoroughbred horse, and they're more prone to injuries, and even dogs that are pets injure themselves on the park, as you correctly say. And whippets are run on both straight and oval tracks, sometimes the same dogs, and we do see injuries in dogs run in straight lines. I think that there isn't any doubt that adding bends does create another possibility for dogs coming together. So maybe
the collision factor.
Yeah, maybe it would be safer if they ran in straight lines, but obviously it's not as convenient and maybe not as exciting for the viewers.
Same for horses, though, isn't it? I mean, do you think that horses are injured for similar reasons? Because they're running round bends?
I think the argument is that they have riders who can steer them away from one another, whereas the dogs more single-mindedly after that hare. And experienced dogs will learn where to be on the track, but the younger dogs often get tangled up.
So would you support an idea to have more straight racetracks, or will you just think you're still going to get injuries, it's the nature of racing?
I think you'll still get injuries. I think it would be very difficult to achieve that change nationally. And there are probably other things that can be done to try and improve the lot of the greyhound, educating those involved in racing as to which injuries can actually be recovered from to race. Also trying to make sure that dogs are allotted to the right position in the trap so that they don't generate unnecessary collisions, making sure they're experienced dogs are run with experienced dogs, etc.
Okay. Graham, thank you for your time. You are speaking from your surgery there in Hucknall. What's the bleeping in the background?
I'm afraid it's an aberrant smoke alarm that's got its own...
Oh, it's not some sort of high-tech equipment you were going to tell me about
No, I'm afraid
to fix the broken limbs of greyhounds.
But
all right.
Can I just mention that a couple of our nurses are involved in the Retired Greyhound Trust, and they wanted me to let people know that the Great Greyhound Gathering is on at Colic this Saturday.
So it is, yes, good point.
1,000 dogs, I think, going there.
That's right. Greyhounds taken for a lovely walk with loads and loads of others. The Great Greyhound Gathering at Colic Park on, when did you say? Is it Saturday or Sunday?
It's Saturday.
Okay.
I'm not certain.
All right, this weekend. All right, Graham Oliver, thank you for your time on BBC Radio Nottingham.
Thank you, Francis.